welcome everybody to this session. We've got Kate from Shopper Approved. Kate, thanks for joining, and how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Excited to jump into this idea of proof wins, how trust signals are reshaping the customer journey. But before we do that, Kate, maybe take a minute and just tell us a little about yourself and what you guys do over there.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Kate. I'm the VP of Partnerships at Shopper Approved. I just celebrated my 7-year anniversary at
Oh
Shopper
my, wow.
Approved.
In e-commerce, that's like 100 years. Congratulations
Yes,
to
I'm very
dinosaurs.
lucky. Thank you. Shopper Approved, we collect reviews for e-com brands. We have a unique way of collecting reviews at checkout. So as soon as a customer purchases a product from a brand, we'll collect the review kind of on that thank you page, that confirmation page. We'll collect our first kind of checkout survey, and then we'll follow up with the customer post fulfillment once they actually get the product, and then collect additional information from the customer then. We collect a variety of UGC for brands, primarily company reviews, product reviews, video reviews, and Q&A. So all in all, UGC collection for brands.
Cool. Yeah, look, I think this is a fun topic and one that feels like it's getting bigger and more important is there people are finding, I think, more and more ways to use reviews in all sorts of parts of the customer journey. But we'll
Absolutely.
get into that now. So I appreciate the overview. Let's start at the top, maybe a little bit with that idea. Where in the customer journey do you see that trust signals have the biggest impact and why? I feel like I'm seeing them all over now, but I'm curious where you're starting to probably see the biggest impact.
Totally. I think you're seeing them all over because there's a big emphasis on this, what we call the conversion path.
Mm,
As a customer is searching for your brand, there's many kind of touch points between when they actually first have an initial idea of what to search for in Google or, some search engine to the time they actually check out. Every step that they take in between that is what we call the conversion path.
yeah.
The place that we're displaying reviews is going to be like on Google search results, Yahoo, Bing, Walmart pages, marketplaces to be able to find that information about the brand. Um, there's product listing ads, Google text ads, Google shopping, organic searches, that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
then once the customer's on your site, we display that UGC on the homepage, on product pages, and most importantly, I think is going to be that product page. So where in the
Yeah.
customer journey is it going to have the biggest impact? It's going to be right before the purchase on the product page. If a customer can't find the info they need while they're on that product page, so that's going to be how big is the product, how thick is the material,
Sure,
how
sure.
it's priced, what others are saying, they're going to leave. They're going to go back in search to try to find that information and leave your page. I
Mm.
was just shopping for steel shelves for my garage and I couldn't figure out how thick the shelf boards were while I was on that product page. So I went into Google to search for it for another site and purchase from another company. So I think the
Mhm.
more answers that a brand provides upfront on that product page, the
Yeah.
more confident a customer would be actually purchasing.
Yeah, and look, I think the people are looking for so much now for stuff that works, right? I mean, obviously you get stuff that's kind of fun, but anytime you can get some more validation around, real people having real comments that, are really that they're seeing impact, I think that stuff adds so much value and the trust of the consumer that it makes a huge difference there.
Yeah.
Um, how do you think about this one? How should CX leaders prioritize reviews and social proof alongside support and service efforts? How do you see those working together?
I think that reviews are CX, like it's a core part of the CX journey, and it
Yeah.
doesn't customer experience doesn't really start after the purchase. It starts the second someone discovers your brand. So before a customer actually buys, the reviews will guide them through that journey,
Yeah.
and your trust signals should be present across the site, reinforcing that confidence every step of the way. However, I'd also say after purchase, reviews are giving CX leaders ongoing a feedback loop. So we've had clients tell us that their reviews act as a real-time bug checker because they're
Oh,
catching product issues, shipping problems, confusing policies, things like
oh,
that
yeah.
before a customer ever contacts support because they're leaving that
Yeah.
in their review.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's super valid. I hadn't actually thought about it like that, a real-time bug tracker. Um, how do you manage? I mean, You guys obviously have a pretty good network. And I've heard people ask this. I'm just curious what your take is on it. There are multiple review platforms out there, and sometimes it's hard to manage across multiple. Like it gets a little bit difficult to seem to see if you can manage this multiple platform. How do you coach organizations? I mean, do you feel like you guys have a large enough network that you really just need to rely on one? Do people need to try to get users sometimes find other platforms and they end up writing on that? Like how do brands manage sometimes what feels like maybe the review chaos out there?
I think it depends on what platforms they're using and what they're focusing on
Yeah,
to market their brand.
yeah.
We have a number of tools at Shopper Approved that help with that kind of omni-channel approach. So I'd say
Mm,
first is we're a Google review partner. So the reviews we collect are able to be displayed in Google
in
text ads
multiple
and product
places.
listings.
Okay, yeah.
We're also a Yahoo and Bing partner, as well as we have a Walmart syndication. So those are a few, like the Walmart Marketplace is
Yeah,
another
yep.
area that our product reviews can be syndicated.
Got it.
We also have a really unique tool, Review Destinations, which allows you to syndicate or send a portion of your reviews to other open source review platforms. So
Mm,
think like a Google business profile, Facebook reviews, even Trustpilot. When a brand uses review destinations, they can choose a percentage to direct to Shopper Approved, a percentage to go to those other places online. So we do have some tools in-house to help manage, their overall brand reputation. And I think that's really important when a brand looks at what is their goal in where their reviews are displaying and how their reputation is seen online.
yeah, yeah, that's cool. So it is a fairly broad spectrum. You can really get it into a couple different areas. I think that helps as you think about managing what sometimes feels, to your point. It's like I got Google, I got Walmart, I got these different areas, and how do you make sure that you kind of cover them all, and you can find a platform that does that in certain ways. That's great.
Really.
This one's a great one that came through as the team was brainstorming some of these pieces. Sometimes you'll get the negative feedback or the negative reviews, and it's always a little bit scary for brands to kind of get that. Oh, how do we deal with this? So, thoughts on how businesses can turn negative feedback into maybe a better customer experience?
I love this question because I think negative feedback is so underrated. And this is something I hear from brands when I kind of do panels like this. First, learn from that negative feedback. Like, don't try to bury it or dismiss it. This is real feedback from a customer. So learn from what they're trying to say and use that
Mm,
information to grow and make your product better. Second, and this really ties in with customer experience, respond to that feedback and see what you
yes,
can do to
yes,
improve the customer's experience. Did they have an issue at your site? Did they receive the wrong item? Do they have questions about your service? Assigning someone at your org to manage your reviews and respond to the negative ones as they come in. And then the kind of cherry on top of that is then post those reviews. You can post them on your website. Any review we collect, we automatically display that on our website as well.
cool.
And then other customers will be able to see those responses and see that positive customer interaction and trust that they'll be able to have a good experience with your brand.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I think that's a fun reframing or turn the tables a little bit, right? It's like sometimes you get so scared about these negative reviews, but there's oftentimes ways to use them internally to change the game the way you're doing. You can surround it with more positive stuff, and I've even found some people, depending on the product, if you look at it the right way. Who was I talking to where they sold knives or something, and somebody said, "This is so sharp, it cut me immediately," and it was, and it was like and they were like, "This is the best marketing we have. Watch out, our knives are sharp," or something. So, anyways, I think you can get sometimes a little bit creative. That doesn't work for necessarily everybody, but sometimes it's a I don't know, backhanded slap where it's kind of like, actually,
Oh, yeah.
that is what we want is a.
I love when companies do this. I snowboard and there's a ski resort in Utah and I can't remember who it is now, that posts their like 1-star reviews
Yes,
with
that's
like
Snowbird.
epic,
Yes,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
okay.
Oh, that's so
With
funny.
epic photos.
That's right. Oh,
So
they're so
great.
funny. It's like, this is way too this mountain is like the most extreme mountain. This is crazy. The
Too
snow, there was
steep,
way
too
too
many
much
long
snow.
runs.
Yeah, they were way better than that. That's right. They got some fun ones. But anyways, I think you can get kind of creative on that front. Well, that's fun. I appreciate you jumping in and kind of talking through some of these different things. Such an important part of the process that I think sometimes, depending on the brand, might be overlooked as there's so many different issues along the customer journey. As you think about this review process, I'd love to kind of finish with this. It's just the idea that, you know, has you seen this like kind of a leave behind around signals? What's one thing you've seen a company do with signals that maybe was a game changer for those that are tuning in today?
I think we see this with so many of our brands. I think seeing them put their trust signals on their product pages shows time
Yeah,
after time a higher conversion with their sales. But one client that comes to mind in particular is um, this brand has their reviews in their product listing ads. They started collecting reviews with us. They posted that star rating in their Google search. And then once they hit 100 reviews with us, which is the Google minimum to be able to,
yeah.
to display those reviews in search, their click-through rate in their ads doubled from 0.7% to
Wow.
1.4 within a
Wow.
month. And so it really shows how powerful it is to meet your customers with trust signals
Cool.
before they even hit your site.
Cool. Whoa, I didn't realize that. 100's kind of a minimum to get those in search results. Okay, that's an important thing to know. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Great. That's a great way to end. I think those are things, again, great ways, great feedback on ways to use these trust signals throughout the process, from Kate over here at Shopper Approved. So, Kate, thanks so much for joining, and for the audience, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Gabe. Thanks, guys.